Hey, what's up? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger,
And Jeff Barrazzo, Trent Fernandez Mercer from Battle Thunder.
and you are watching Team Venom Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Team Venom Power Ranger podcast. I'm your host, Rory Bailey, joined by a very special guest in, Ron Wasserman, who is our first free-time guest. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really good, thank you. It's been a huge year for your music. I've seen. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to the cinema with my son to see Multiverse of Madness, and my son got all excited by the thing of the X-Men theme playing, and I was like, "That's Ron's done that."
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So you had that. There's the Miss Marvel series that they played a little bit of your theme in there as well, and then obviously because it's a Power Rangers podcast, we got to talk about the 30th anniversary special that they got you back in for as well. So yeah, it's been a
Yeah, it's been a great year.
big. So
Of
yeah,
course, now there's a big writer's strike going on, so now I'm doing reality television because
Oh.
that doesn't fall under the guidelines of the unions for the writers. So that's exciting.
yeah. Oh, well, as I say, it's awesome to have you on here. Because as I've just mentioned in the intro, you're the first person that's been on here 3 times, which is awesome. so
Well, let's go for 100.
we'll try, yeah. Every second episode we'll get you in.
Perfect.
But yeah, so obviously when we spoke before, we've talked about your career, and we've briefly mentioned your band Fisher. We mentioned some of the other stuff that you've done with different TV shows, and one of the, as I say, I mentioned like the 30th anniversary special and stuff. What was it like for you being brought back in for the 30th anniversary special, and also the Marvel projects where they've reused your theme? How's that feel?
Well, the Marvel thing is just, people texted me right away as soon as they saw that stuff. And then people managed to, however they did it, they managed to get clips and send it to me. So I was, gave me chills. It lets you know that you've done something in your life that is still somewhat, being used, even to taste, and is known well enough for that 2 or 3 seconds. So it's really flattering. I mean, great.
Well,
And oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, the clip that you mentioned from Miss Marvel, that's that one clip went viral. We just where she said, "Oh yeah, we found a mutation." They just say your little trill, and that's it. That's the viral snippet from that whole show, and that's amazing.
It's beautiful. And then the 30-year reunion, they contacted me. I'm looking at it. It was 11 months ago, and they said, "We would love to have you. Are you interested?" And I'm like, hell yes. Count me in. I want to do it. And then they thought it would be done in August. And then in August, they said probably October. And then in October, it became late November. And I got it in early December, which was perfect timing because I just finished a film, a romantic comedy called Stars Fell Again. And then in came the Power Ranger thing. And I live a bit north of Los Angeles, just 30 miles. And it's been raining or cloudy and overcast since November here. 2 days ago, we had a sunny day. Today, it's light rain. It's June in Los Angeles, and it's raining.
We're currently in the middle of a supposed 42-day heat wave in the UK, is what the news are referring to it as. I'm sure you can see how bright the windows are behind me.
It's got to be great. You got to be happy.
Yeah,
you guys had a really brutally cold winter, didn't you?
Yeah. So it's been lovely, to be fair. So one thing I've got to ask you about the anniversary thing is, have they contacted you to do any more?
I haven't heard anything yet, and I think because it's all because of this, excuse me, the writer's strike. So usually if they were planning on doing more, it must be affecting it some way. Plus, I think that same crew works on Fury or whatever. Is that what they're shooting
Yeah,
now?
yeah, the Cosmic
Yeah.
Fury, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all working on that. So that makes sense that they probably are just beginning to bounce around the idea. I can't imagine that it won't happen because it did so incredibly well.
Yeah.
I think at Netflix it was in the top 10. Here it hit number 3, but worldwide it made the top 10. And when that happens, you should pay attention. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you know
you
how
know-
it is. They have to start the negotiations with the actors, figure out who else they'd want to bring on. That takes forever. You're dealing with AIDS agents or nightmares. And so I'm sure I would think the wheels are starting to roll
Yeah.
on it.
Did
That's
you
a
watch
call
the
I'm
30th?
looking forward to.
Oh, sorry. How many times have you watched it back, the 30th anniversary special? And did you enjoy it or?
Well, I loved it, but I was scoring it for 5 weeks. I took off Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but other than that, I worked every day and evening on it straight because I wanted it to just be as kick-ass as possible. And they were all on Christmas break, the holidays, so I was able to just really blast through stuff. And then I sent everything off, and the director had a few notes, and then the network had some more notes, but they were all really simple. I mean, a couple hours of work. And that thing was a blast to work on. It felt like scoring a whole new project that just happened to have those characters in it because it's done so differently from the days at Saban with the latex pigs and all that stuff.
It's one of the things that I liked about your score for that is that it was difficult to tell that it was new, if you know what I mean. It had that exact sort of vibe that it needed for the special, so it immediately hit everyone with the nostalgia. And yeah, I thought it was all from the musical side of things. I thought it was absolutely perfect for what it needed to be, and yeah,
it's great.
was
And
awesome.
they contacted me last week. They're going to release the soundtrack, I think on the 30th of this month. So that should be fun. I pushed for it. I was hoping they could get it out earlier, but Hasbro was doing, I think, a deal with Sony for any of their music releases. So that'll be cool that it's coming out. It would have been good if it came out, the same time the show did. But
yeah, because you would have seen a spike on Spotify and things like that just by default, surely, like the week of the show. But obviously, I know you've done stuff, decades worth of Power Ranger series and such. Have they spoke to you about Cosmic Fury or any of the modern ones? Are you in touch with them about any of that sort of thing? Or
no, I think they're locked in with whoever's doing the music on that stuff. So that doesn't mean that it wouldn't change down the road. But for now, that's only fair. I mean, if they've been using the same couple of guys or girls or guy or girl for the last couple of years, they should stick with those people.
Yeah.
Plus, I'd feel bad. I don't want to take any work from anybody. I'll take it if we're competing for a project for the first time and I win, then too bad. I got it. But if somebody's got the gig, that's just not cool.
Have Marvel contacted you about X-Men 97?
Not a word. I tried through several channels. I remember I originally called my contacts at Disney and I said, "Hey, I'm interested." And they said, "Good for you. This is a Marvel project. We have really, good luck as anybody I can contact there." They said, "We don't even know who does what. They're their own universe. Marvel really is their own universe." So,
wow.
And we're coming up on June now, so I'm assuming somebody I know did bring it up in a meeting with the writers, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know who he is," and that was the end of it.
Sorry to hear that, man.
But who knows what they're going for?
Yeah,
I mean, who knows on the score? I have no idea.
And it may be okay. I mean, a lot of people are speculating that they're just going to reuse the theme from the 90s and whatnot, which they've already got down. So it may be that.
Yeah, that they're doing.
Yeah,
they're definitely reusing the same theme. That I know. only because I read an article that they paid some astronomical amount to Saban for that.
Wow. So do you not get rights for that? Do you? Okay.
No, those
Sorry,
the, well, it was a deal I knew going in when I started at Saban in '89, just mixing for the other composers. It was very clear nobody kept their rights.
Okay.
If they were composing, and that was the deal. But it got you in the business, and in my case, gave me a name, which opened up a million doors. So it was worth it. Would have been great to have anything on those themes or shows. Hell yeah! But that was the deal going in. It's no different than a scientist that works for a company and invents a widget that's amazing. The company owns it. The company makes some money off it. And the scientist probably gets a really nice coffee cup.
Yeah. Although I guess on the flip side, I know your band was featured in Smallville, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
So
sure. Yeah, we had a ton of stuff.
I'm assuming because that's your band, that's something that you would get the rights for and paid per play and such.
But from the moment I left Saban, it's been every agreement's been done correctly. What generally happens is there's split, everything is split. There's the publishing share, which they call 100%, and then there's the writing share, which they call 100%, which fools most people into, oh, it's 100%, but it's 50%. You're getting 100% of half the pie. And the production companies own everything, all rights in perpetuity, and the publishing, and the composer gets his writer's side. So that's what's happened since I left Saban, and occasionally I get the publishing too. Okay. But it's not about that. It's just I learned about the business at Saban. That's really cut my teeth on learning how it all works, not just composing, but the business side. So I've negotiated all my own contracts forever, and don't have an agent, and don't deal with a lawyer. Had to when I do, not good.
Fair enough. Well, obviously it's cool having your band in Smallville, as well as the themes and such that you've wrote for various series and such. Is there anything in particular from either your band or your themes that you're particularly proud of more than anything else?
Yeah, with the band, Fisher was the first band to be signed from the internet. We became so huge at all the online sites, but especially mp3.com when all of this was starting off. And so we still couldn't get a record deal to save our lives. But then CNN came to us, and Time Magazine came to us, and everybody else was coming to us. And then the record companies figured somebody better sign these people. And so I was on the phone with these record company heads because there's a couple of things I wanted in the contract. And it was great because I was in the driver's seat. So I was passing on record companies. So I'd be on the phone with Atlantic Records, and they wouldn't concede on this one thing. And they'd say, let's talk Monday. Say, what part of we pass don't you understand? Nobody talks to these guys this way. They didn't know what to do with me. I'm sweating. I'm nervous saying this stuff, but it worked out really well. So I'm proud about that. I'm proud about that. We were the first piano vocal ballad song to chart and do really well at top 40 radio since the 50s or the 60s. And so really proud of what happened there. Of course, it didn't work out to be huge for us, but it went really well. And then on the composing side, I mean, you really can't knock being associated with X-Men and Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z, and then later on working with Betty White for 4 years, or Cedric the Entertainer, or Monty Python, or John Anderson from Yes, I've worked with some really outstanding talent. It's been a real honor.
Wow. I mean, the stuff that you've done over the years, I'm in awe of a hell of a lot of everything, and it's like as growing up, I know I've mentioned this on the previous times that you've been on. Growing up, the two main things that I watched as a child were X-Men and Power Rangers, and that's the stuff that my kids like now. And it's the 90s stuff that they watch, and it's awesome. As I say, it's awesome to see that your stuff's being used again, and it's awesome to find your actual music. So me and my son have had a look at some of the stuff online, and Smallville's a show that I've gotten him into recently, which is why that's fresh in my mind and such. And it just it's cool to see that general progression over the years, and then find more of your stuff through your band, through Fisher and whatnot. And it's awesome that you got the MP3 thing down too. And it's
been a trip. I mean, all those years of just cranking. Still kind of do, but not.
Yeah,
I can't do 7 days a week, and yeah, I could when I had like the Power Rangers project, but to go years of just, I went 25 years with a couple 1 week breaks. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, finally.
Welcome. I love your setup there.
Thanks. Stuck in the work van. I had the big boss come down from his ivory tower. God forbid you reach for your phone, man. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Been better.
Now we've got the joyous thing of Paul asking you questions, Ron, that I may have already asked you.
We covered everything.
Oh, great.
Literally everything.
Well, then bye. Good talking to you. So you probably already asked, Rory, since you're,
Yeah.
Did what kind of other projects you got coming up that you can tell us?
Well, everything's on hold because I'm doing reality television stuff now because it's the only thing here that's non-union, because there's been a writer's strike going on for about 6 weeks, and now the Screen Actors Guild is about to join in. So I think every production for that was coming up in the fall has been shut down now, and they're not shooting anything. So it's reality TV for the foreseeable future. And
is reality TV really reality TV? Come on now.
No, not at all. But there's no union writer working on it. What they do is this, from what I've heard. I've never been on the set, because if I did, I'd put a bullet in my head, because I hate this stuff. I mean, really, it's like, because they're always arguing, and I don't like arguing. I grew up in a household with arguing. I don't need to relax and watch it on television. So there's the producers. If they're not getting the action they want, they'll plant little thoughts in the people's ears so that they can get a good fight going. And then they're directed somewhat. I mean, something like a police show, that's reality, where they're just following with the camera crew. But the other stuff, I mean, it can't be.
It's all Big Brother type.
Yeah. Or
who gets into watching Big Brother anymore? I don't. That's just. They're what, Big Brother 64 or 75 or something? I don't even know.
I know, it's gonna last longer than The Simpsons.
It got so bad where they're bringing back people from season 4, and they're in their geriatric age. They're coming in their canes and their walkers and their Geritol and all that good stuff.
That is funny. They should have senior citizen survivor.
I mean, they did a thing in the UK a few years back where it was a celebrity Big Brother, which they throw out every now and again. And one of the guests on there was a celebrity because they'd been in Big Brother. So it was just like, they just went, "Oh, this is our celebrity guest," but he was only famous because he'd been in Big Brother to begin with over here. It was weird. So they was really scraping the barrel with that one.
Yeah. Who do we have? Somebody find somebody. We have to come up with something. Yeah, that's what happens on those things. I really shouldn't have said I hate it, because honestly, I just don't watch it. I don't watch much television. And to answer your question earlier about that 30-year reunion, I watched it over and over and over.
For 5 weeks.
Yeah. So when it came out, all I did was I watched the first 4 minutes just to hear the mix and see how it sounded. And then I hit pause and said, okay, I know what happens after this, to not, like, I could recite the dialogue. I knew every bit of that thing. But when I had it for the big fights, it was all basic CGI. It kind of looks like little graphic. It's hard to say, like little squares. The monsters, they haven't even been developed. I forgot what they call it. Somebody out there will know. It's just the basic movements that the frames are going to make before they add all the color and artwork to it. So that was a little hard to score to because it's not timed exactly right yet. And then I didn't have a lot of the dialogue, so I would just look at their action. So they would zoom back and they're going, with their helmets on. I'm like, okay, obviously there's some urgency here. I'm gonna score it urgently. Luckily, got it. Because you can't even see the expression on their face, so you have to read what they're doing with their hands. I suppose I could have asked for a script, but I didn't want to bother anybody.
But even with the script, would that make your job easier?
No, because I would probably lose my place in the script and be on the wrong page and score it wrong. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's all action. We're in trouble and we need more weapons right away.
So like when you're doing that, how can I put this? Do you write the song and then they put it in where they want, or are you in a room, you have it on a screen, and then you type or put in the score while you're watching it?
Yeah, the latter. I'm scoring to picture every single part of it. So I am, and then I send them. Then they wanted all the tracks split out. So I think every sound for each different music cue. So I think I ended up sending them about 507 tracks. So they could adjust the mix if they wanted to. So I score this section, name it, give it the first name, move down to the next group, score that. Each sound is broken in the tracks, and so on and so on and so on. So it was a pretty huge file. Luckily, Macintosh had just come out with that Mac Studio a couple months prior. I got one of those, or I would have been screwed. I needed a lot of computing power for this thing. Because some of these sounds are, they're very demanding on the CPU.
I can imagine, but I have to ask, and I don't remember if we asked you this before, but online there's different versions of Go Green Ranger, and what's with the Redux?
Oh, in 2011 or 2012, I wanted to see, I had some time so I just quickly did the theme. I did the verse and chorus. I just wanted to see if I could still sing like that because I hadn't done it for a while. And since 2005 with SPD. So I just pulled it up and I made it through the first chorus. And I went, all right, I'm going to recut the theme for fun. And then I thought, there's never been a soundtrack release that didn't have that dialogue over it that original album was supposed to. So I said, I'm going to cut my favorite songs, just redo it, put it out there, see what happens. It was that simple. I did it for fun. I did it for me. And
I don't have a playlist or anything. Hey, come on, man. The bass on that, it thumps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was pulling up that same stuff. I mean, it just came back like muscle memory, all those drum parts and everything. It was fun. Technology was better with some of the guitar sounds, but I still tried to find that original vibe. I wish I had that original sound. That would be so fun to have these days. I don't remember what the exact chain of sounds through the guitar processor amp simulator, was to create that original sound.
I don't know. I think you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, as long as I fooled Eddie Van Halen, I'm happy.
I remember you saying on one of the you said on one of the previous ones that Van Halen was trying to was saying he couldn't play it, and it was because it was on a keyboard, wasn't it? I remember.
Yeah.
That's there you go, Paul. There was a callback to a previous episode. But
It's a beautiful sky
Hey,
up
I've
here.
been hitting the
Paul.
head with chairs, man. I don't remember much. Man, holy crap, that just came out of nowhere. Where are my sunglasses at?
Go get your
Somewhere. I
sunglasses.
can't see now.
Don't look at the sun, Paul.
I can't see. Why not? It's half the fun. We don't get to see it much around here anymore.
We were discussing that earlier. It's been raining or socked in here. I'm just north of LA since November.
I'm right outside of Philly, so I kind of feel your pain.
It
Oh, you're
doesn't
getting the
amuse me.
humidity.
I can't help but find it amusing that we've just like multiple times we've ended up just chatting about the weather.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, the
don't
thing
mi-
comes
don't
out.
mind
The
me.
soundtrack comes out on the 30th, and I'm pretty happy about everything.
okay.
I was. I'm a little. I'm not even thrown by the writer's strike. It's actually fine. I mean, it's not fine. A lot of my friends are out of work, but that strike started on a Friday, and I went, "Oh, I'm going to have some free time. I'll do some stuff." And Monday morning, a company contacted me and said, "Can you start writing? We need action, tension, cliffhanger, arguing, screaming cues."
So is the soundtrack going to be released on, all the music
Yeah.
platforms?
Yeah, they'll put it everywhere. And then after it's out, if it, it would have been good to come out sooner. If it does well, then I'll try to convince them to do a vinyl version.
Nice.
Oh, I love vinyl.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, vinyl nowadays does not sound like the vinyl from back in the day.
No, it doesn't, but it's still cool to have.
Yeah.
I just ordered a vinyl. They're doing like 100 copies of this soundtrack for a film called Great Expectations that I had to cut on. So I ordered that. That should be fun to see what it sounds like. Because I never
Why
heard.
does that sound familiar?
I was with Gwyneth Paltrow and Ethan Hawke. It was about 1997. De Niro was in it.
Oh, okay. See, all you had to say was De Niro.
Well,
Yeah, because that narrows it
which you
down to
got the
600
look.
movies.
yeah. Well, it's been awesome having you on.
I don't know.
Obviously,
You probably heard it.
Sorry, Paul. We've just hit the point where we're going to wrap up.
That's cool.
Because the time constraints and whatnot. But it's been awesome seeing you again, Ron.
Been great talking to you guys.
I'm sure I'll speak for Paul as well when I say you're more than welcome on whenever you want to come on again. If there's anything you want to chat about, like any of your upcoming Comic Con appearances or anything like that, we'd love to have you back whenever you like. But yeah,
all right,
thank
don't
you.
burn to death in the heat and the humidity, and don't stop looking at the sun, Paul.
No, I'll think about it.